Hi, I'm Frances Fisher, and you're listening to You Might Know Her From with Anne and Damien.
Hello, Dis, and welcome back to another episode of You Might Know Her From
with Damien and Anne.
I am Damien with an eye twitch that's going on 8 weeks.
I'm Anne. I don't have an eye twitch as of yet, but Damien keeps saying when I see him, he's like, do you see it? Do you see it? Have you witnessed it? Do you see it? Do you see it? I haven't seen it yet, but I do understand the pain of an eye twitch that really just, I feel like it keeps you honest. It's like it tells you where you're at. It's like you think you're doing good. You're happy with your life, your finances, your life, your romance, your health. Oh no, you've got an eye twitch. It's like going to keep you honest.
Absolutely, babe. Absolutely. Well, welcome back to our show. This is our little podcast that could, and we meet here every week with y'all, and we are always shooting the shit. We are longtime friends, collaborators, pop culture enthusiasts, lesbian pop culture enthusiasts, and we are here to break down all of the goings on in pop culture, and then we always have a great interview with an actor on the books.
Welcome back to our show. We're so happy that you joined us. And I just want to shout out a few people that took us up on our mission, which was to leave a podcast review on the Apple Podcast app. That's the best thing you can do. So thanks to those of you who followed up and did that. We see you, Nikki BC, Jones in Ohio, Shelley's Podcast, Drawer One. Thank you for taking the time to leave those written reviews. Lovely. And if you like what we're doing here, that is the thing that does the most for us. So leave a few words, leave an actress. Somebody just dropped Tara Reid recently. That was the only review. Thank you. You really get us and what we're trying to achieve here. And so if you take a few seconds to do that, we would love you so much. So please take a moment to do that and then join us back here because we've got a doozy of an episode this week.
Folks, can I just say, the last time we were with you, it was the Lisa Ann Walter episode, but we had actually recorded our intro outro like the same day as the episode because I was traveling for work and Ann was traveling for family things. And so we were both really run down. This is like mid eye twitch for me. Like I already had it, but it was like only increasing. Yeah. And so what a wild ride it's been. I mean, it's been about 2 weeks now. And
yeah, it was literally the day of the Oscars that afternoon that we recorded. And let me tell you, like, yes, we haven't covered the Oscars because they were that Sunday. Wow. What an event. What an event.
Let's who can even get into it? I'm so tired of it already.
I don't care.
We don't care. But, we did reconnect and reunite in real life for the first time this week in, I don't know, was it a month? Who knows? But we met and I'm on my way to meet Anne. We have tickets for the theater, and I lost my wallet. Like moments before leaving the apartment, I'm like, Anne, I don't have my wallet. I'm just gonna come. Can you just spot me for the night? Spot me for dinner and the ticket and all the drinks. And my best friend said, you bet. And then was like, how are you gonna get on the subway? And I said, my phone, I got it. And then she said, vaccination status. And I was like, I got it. Oh, wait, I don't have my ID. So then I had to run back home. I had to get my passport. So I show up with a passport. Anne's like, I picked a restaurant out. It's BYOB because of course. And she was like, do you want to get wine? And I said, yes, I'm going to do this. So I have a wad of cash in my pocket. Get to the wine store. I don't have enough cash to get the cheapest bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. It was like $17. I had 18, and with tax, it was $18.50. The woman looked at me, and this just was a reminder of the way people hate poor people because she just looked at me and was like, sorry. Like, she wouldn't spot me that fucking 50 cents. I was so mad.
Right, because also, like, the alternative is if she had spotted that to you, we would have gone out of our way to go get more cash and, like, drop off, like, $1.50, $2 on the back end to make sure, because she was so generous to have spotted you that 50 cents.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, Apple Pay wasn't working because I never used it. I didn't understand what was happening. Anyway, I show up to Anne. Anne is in a shed, of course, still eating outside. Doesn't matter the temperature, if it's raining or hailing. There she is. She's in a shed eating sushi by herself, waiting for me. She's got a warm bottle of wine. We get ice cubes for it. I mean, I don't know if any of this is usable, but it was just really peak us energy. Yeah. And then I said,
very representative. We also had 20 minutes before. So I had ordered the food in advance. I was like, great, I'm going to order our classic. We'll have it ready here. I had already eaten my miso soup. I got ice cubes for the wine. Then we had to drink the entire bottle of wine in 20 minutes.
Oh my God, I forgot we did that.
We did before we went to go see the show. So yeah, it was peak us. It very much was like we greeted each other with the energy that we needed needed to. And also it feels like, I just like, the pandemic has really like thrown my brain and body and like social life for a loop. So it felt good to have some version of like a weird ass engagement with you that like brought me back to myself.
Yeah, I mean, I love nothing more than sitting next to you or getting ready to watch a cabaret, and I order a frozen espresso martini.
Literally, you told me you were going to order an espresso martini in advance, and then you told me how popular they are and that they're in fashion and that it is very important. And I was like, Brenna and Alex were drinking espresso martinis 2 years ago, so I feel like they brought that wave back into existence.
I agree. I know my friend Kathy and I had one. She like ordered them for a dessert drink like a year and a half ago, and I was like, you're a loser, and now they're cool. And I was like, well, you're cool. I mean, I drank.
Did you tell her that? Tell Kathy that.
I gave her the credit. Yeah, I gave her credit for it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good. What a night. I mean, a night of I guess theater, who knows, but I was drinking a frozen espresso martini on you. You haven't Venmo'd me yet for it. And I said to you, drinking game, every time you catch my eye twitching, just drink. But you said you never saw it.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to be on the lookout on the Zoom call for it, but I really hope it resolves soon. As I'm entering almost my 4th decade, the medical things continue to stack up. So an eye twitch, maybe that's on the light end of things. So keep me updated. Keep us all updated. It really does feel like a whirlwind since the last time we've been here recording together. And like today is a big day because as of the date of recording, it's April 10th, which for those of you Titanic fans shall know that today is the day that the Titanic set forth on the ocean. So we are approaching Titanniversary, April 14th, of course, the date that the boat sank. And I can't tell you that I heard it back, honestly. When I went back to listen to this week's episode for the edit, I thought, oh, Anne, you are sounding special. You are sounding particularly mental in this interview with the great redheaded legend, iconic character actress, Frances Fisher. Yes, we had her on the show. This was a huge get for us. And when I tell you that we held this episode for 7 months in an attempt to drop it on April 14th, 2022, well, we did it. We have delivered here for you. So I think we get into it in the interview, but I have to say, Titanniversary is just so important for our group of friends and has really been one of the things, like, we don't really do like a lot of holidays together, but Titanniversary is a thing that come hell or high water, wherever we are, we will gather and we will celebrate. And it really has just like been one of the most important things for me in New York City and my friend group. Our friends Kale and Ashley like flew in for the 100th anniversary from Kansas City and like flew to New York so that we could all celebrate together. We got dressed up and I dressed up as Old Rose and we like paraded through the streets of New York City and like did a tour of Titanic. And, it's just like, these are the things that I love about our group of friends. This movie is a classic. And I think that if you want to shit on Titanic, please leave now. If Titanic is a movie that doesn't like engage your interests on any level, I don't want you to be listening to this podcast.
I just don't think that that's true. I mean, I know that like it is sort of associated, I think, with this like teen sort of obsession with Leo and
from our
and
era.
Kate and Leo, if you are a person who was like of our age group, give or take like 8 years. But, there's like an in for everybody. For me, it's always been Kathy Bates as Molly Brown because it's like she's in a different movie and I'm into it. Also, it's Fabrizio. It's like my Italian roots. Like I'm always like offended, but also so charmed by him. So
I was not into Leo as a teenager. Like he was not sexually interesting to me, which is shocking because I was into Taylor Hanson, who I think like possessed like a similar feminine quality. But now when I watch Titanic as an adult woman, looking back, I was like, God, he is a beautiful, delicate boned woman. Like he is he is projecting real feminine energy, and like Kate Winslet has like really grounded, like I would say even a little masculine energy in the film that in ways that are like erotically interesting to me as an adult, because she like really like takes him. It's clear that she has had sex before and Jack has not, and it's like, oh my God, that sex scene takes on new layers each and every time. Look, the movie is an incredible action film. It's a love story. I was most interested in the disaster aspect of the film as a young person, and still today because I love a disaster movie. But going back and watching Frances Fisher's performance is just so, I feel like she gets the tone of the film so well. She looks beautiful. We make some great discoveries about the film throughout with her. And I think that we learned a little bit about James Cameron, who I have a real soft spot for. I think he's a master filmmaker. I'm excited for the new Avatars, even though it's like Avatar's deeply not my thing, but I feel like a James Cameron movie is always going to be my thing. And I feel like getting to hear about him playing with Frances Fisher was a really delightful moment. I still can't believe that we landed Frances Fisher for the show.
You might know her from Titanic,
Watchmen,
Jolene,
House of Sand and Fog,
Laws of Attraction,
The Sinner,
The Lincoln Lawyer,
and Unforgiven. Folks, today is a huge day. We are gobsmacked to be here with actress and activist Frances Fisher. Frances Fisher, welcome to the show.
Hi there. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, Frances, you have over 150 screen credits, and because Damien and I are self-proclaimed lesbian pop culture historians, we're always looking for any credits where our guest is playing gay. So we were so excited to dive into credits where we see you showing up as a lesbian orderly who has a sex scene with Jessica Chastain in the 2008 film Jolene. I was like, okay, Frances, looking very good, smoking cigarettes, love it. But, as we went into your catalog, we realized you have this impressive list of other gay-ish, or we'll call them gay-adjacent credits. Some of them include Kathleen Turner's lover in the indie comedy Another Kind of Wedding.
Oh, God, you have deep dived, man.
Yes! You play a stripper in the erotic film Female Perversions with Tilda Swinton, and you're in the indie drama Any Day Now with Alan Cumming. So we just wanted to know, do you have a connection to the LGBTQ plus community? And are you aware that there is extreme reverence for you within it?
I don't think I'm a gay icon on the line of Beth Grant, but Beth is one of my dearest friends.
Oh, we love her.
Right? Have you interviewed her yet?
We have. Oh. Yeah, she's tremendous.
Amazing. Yeah, we've worked together on a couple of things. No, I didn't know I had fans in that particular group, although, I have done a lot of marching in my life for the LGBTQ community, of course, because I love rainbows. But, it's funny when you bring up Kathleen. I remember when we were doing the scene and she's on the bottom and I'm on the top, and we got on and the director started, telling us what to do. And I said, wait a minute, you guys, I just have to take a moment here and acknowledge the fact that I am about to kiss Kathleen Turner. It was, the entire crew burst out laughing. Iconic moment. I mean, body heat, for God's sake. You know what I mean? And here I am. Kathleen was so fabulous. And Jolene with Jessica, that was really the first film she ever did. And she called me up and she said, Frances, I've got this part that I'm going to be doing in this movie, and there's a part for you in it, but I don't know if you want to do it or not. I said, what are you talking about? I'd love to work with you. I mean, she was fresh off the boat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had done the play with Al Salome, but hadn't shot the movie yet. So
okay.
She said, yeah, but you have to kiss me. Is that okay? I'm like, I think I can handle that. And then when I read the script and saw the scenes that we did, oh my God, it was so good. So good. I love that girl. Talk about success, eh?
Yeah. So one of your most recent credits that I was obsessed with is the HBO series Watchmen. And for our listeners, you play Jane Crawford, the police chief's wife. And you have this incredible scene where a tete-a-tete between you and Jean Smart takes a turn, and we find out that your character is a member of the white supremacist group.
You just spoiled it for anybody who didn't see it.
I'm so sorry. Well, they should have watched it by now. So we find out that your character is duplicitous, just like most people in this universe, and that you're a member of this white supremacist group. I mean, and then the best part is that you push a remote control button and that literally, Jean Smart falls down to a trapdoor. It's incredible.
How amazing. Right?
I mean, the show is so brilliant and so ahead of its time. I mean, just a few years before we're really having this very recent conversation and reckoning with race and social justice in this country. Was that production shrouded in secrecy, or did you know from the jump that Jane was a member of the 7th Cavalry from the beginning? Did you always know that?
No. Let me tell you what happened.
Oh.
I get a call from my agents, and they said, there's an HBO show that's happening, and they're going to give you some sides to go in and audition for Vicki Thomas. Now, Vicki Thomas is one of the best casting directors. I've known her for years. I absolutely love her, and I love her taste. So I knew that it was going to be a good project, even though I was given sides that had nothing to do with this secret project. I can't even remember what the name of it was. They gave it a different name. So when I got the offer, they sent me the script and I started reading it. And that very first scene about the Tulsa massacre, because I knew nothing about it. I had no education about what happened back then in Tulsa. And by the end of the first scene, I called my agent. I said, whatever it is, I will do it. I don't even know where this character goes. But because it has such a strong social justice leaning, this is a piece of entertainment, quote unquote, that is going to educate people at the same time. Oh my God, please, I have to be part of this. So that's how I got into it. I was, playing Don Johnson's wife. It's good, right?
Yeah. Had
a good time, loved the writers and directors, and Jean is a longtime friend, and we had so much fun doing it. And in fact, we went out to dinner one night and just kind of did a role reversal and videotaped ourselves at dinner, where she made me fall down off the chair.
Okay, Frances, I have to be totally transparent and say that Titanic is like a very important thing for me. So for the last 15 years or so, our group of friends have been doing this thing where we honor the sinking of the Titanic every April with what we call Titanniversary. And of course, the film is a big part of that. So today is a big day for us. Thank you for partaking. As we were digging into like all of the Titanic history, you said that when you were creating your character that like you really found it in the wig, in the costumes, in all of the exterior. But can you say like when you were going in for the audition, did you bring any part of that into the room, or did you go in to read for James Cameron like in modern day dress? What was the audition process like?
Okay. And first of all, it was not a wig. That was my hair. My hair was
It's beautifully done. It's stunning. Wow. Okay.
My hair was about down to my elbows, and my hairdresser every night after we worked, he would comb it out and, roll it up in the way they did it back then. So I'd go home and sleep with a do-rag on, and he would do it again the next day. So yeah, for the audition, oh my God, Mally Finn, God rest her soul, another amazing casting director. They gave me a couple of scenes, and of course the corset scene, because that had a lot of meat to it. Mm-hmm. The scene between Kate and Ruth. Kate.
Yeah, Kate.
Awesome, yeah. Ruth. She's Kate to me. Anyway, I auditioned, and yeah, I found a kind of a turn of the century blouse that's in my closet, because I keep everything for auditions, because that's my training in theater. Mm-hmm. If something goes out of style, you don't give it away. You keep it and put it in your costume closet for next time.
Very key. Yes. I have a costume bin too. I feel like, I live in New York City, but like even in an apartment, you have to have a bin.
You have to. You have to. Because sometimes you don't have time to go to a thrift shop. And I love thrift shops because you can find so many things there. But anyway, I had my high-necked, very prim blouse that had a little, embroidery here and there on it. And I had a long skirt that I put on, and I had a pair of boots, lace-up boots. So I walked in not in costume, but it gave an approximation of a woman who lived at the turn of the century.
Right.
So I went in there and I did that audition for Mally. And it was interesting because the corset scene was originally written with her putting me into the corset. Mm. So I couldn't do that because obviously it was just me in the room auditioning with Mally. So I, kind of put my hair up, and I was, doing my lines where I was just putting my hair up. Anyway, about 2 months went by. I figured, well, I didn't get that job. And then I get a call, and I was on my way on a vacation. They always, how they say, plan a vacation and be on the way to the airport, and you get a call to turn around and come back for an audition. That's kind of what happened. Mr. Cameron would like to meet you, and he'd like you to do all the scenes that you did previously and the end of the movie. I went, what do you mean the end of the movie? It's like the ship sinks, and I had all the pieces to do because I didn't have any big scenes. It was just like little shots, right, of different, getting into the boat, watching the thing sink, and the ship sink. I can hear Jim going, Francis, it's not a boat, it's a ship. Anyway, so I put on that same outfit and went back to Lightstorm to wait, and I was the only one there this time. There was nobody else in the waiting room. And this guy comes in, he goes, Francis Fisher? Yeah, he says, come follow me. This young man in jeans and a lumberjack shirt, and he takes me down this long hall into this big conference room. And I see Mally there with her assistant, and they've got the video camera all set up. And I look around, I go, where is Jim Cameron? He goes, oh, that's me. It was that guy who, I thought he was an assistant or something. He was just so easygoing and just friendly, and he didn't say, I'm Jim. He just said, come on, follow me. So I looked at him, and at that moment, I just felt connected to him. Mm. So he said, okay, so we don't have to have you do all the other stuff you did because I've already seen it on tape. You're good with that. You don't have to do the corset scene. But I said, well, the end of the movie, it's a lot of different scenes. So can I just do like my take on one piece of it, and then we'll stop the camera, and then we'll do another piece, and so on and so forth. He goes, great. So he picks up the camera, and he's holding it himself, videotaping me. And then it became such a creative experience that at one point when I was to play the scene where I say to Rose, get in the boat, right? I'm like in the lifeboat, and I'm hanging over the side saying, get in the boat, Rose. This is in a conference room. And I said to them, well, I think that you're probably going to shoot from above. So why don't we get up on the table, and I'll step down into the chair next to it so you can get the idea of me looking up and pleading to my daughter. He goes, great. So we all got up on top of the table. And when I think back now, I think, God, what audacity. But it was so in the moment and so much fun, and everybody was having fun, all four of us in this room. So we shot that little piece, and he said, well, I'll know what to do. If I get a cold that day, I know who's going to be able to shoot this scene for me. That kind of thing. It was so much fun. When I walked out of there, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to get the job or not, but all I know is that I had a great time, and I felt like I was just exploding with creativity. And I compliment, Mally Finn for creating that arena, and of course, Jim Cameron for being such a great collaborator. He was fabulous.
That's very cool, because I feel like, some of the rap that he gets sometimes is that, he has this huge vision. It was this monstrous production, that got a lot of press at the time for being over budget and over schedule. But it was kind of nice to hear that he had that creative energy with you, at least in the audition process.
Yeah, the whole time.
So that was that what the vibe was like for you while you were on set? Like, who was your buddy? Was it Jim Cameron, or was it the actors? Like, what was the vibe during that months-long shoot?
Well, depending on what the scene was, of course, your buddies are always your castmates. Jim was always there. He was, at the monitor. There was the night that we were shooting the scene where Rose is coming down the stairs to meet Jack, and they're going to go to dinner, and he's pretending to shake hands and trying to be a gentleman because he's in the suit that Kathy Bates gave him, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He shined up like a new penny.
Yeah. Yes. So they're over Kate on Leo on a close-up, and they're about to shoot it, and Jim goes, no, wait. There's a spot on the floor out of focus because they're shooting down on him. You could see the floor behind him, the black and white patterned floor, and there was a little spot on the part of the white tile. He goes, we can't have that because this is a new ship and there hadn't been anybody walking there before. Because, we'd shot out of order, obviously, and there had been background people walking through other scenes. So he goes, we got to clean it up. So everybody scatters, and he comes back with a bucket and a rag. He gets down on the floor and is just scraping it up. And I walked over to him and I said, Jim, you don't have to do this. You got people for this, He goes,
Right.
Look, I've done every job on a set. I knew where to get the stuff. He wasn't guilting anybody. It was just like, I had to get the job done. And he found the shit before everybody else did.
I love that. I mean, it's sort of like you're all in it together. And honestly, based on like what we've seen, it really looked like some of the shoots could have been quite treacherous. So.
Well, I doubt that. No, I shouldn't say I doubt. I have no doubt that there was, I wouldn't say treacherous, but I know that all that stuff, with the water flooding in with Kate and Leo was scary because it was cold water. They were using seawater.
Yeah.
And that was, those kids were amazing. But in terms of being a director, he was fabulous. Just fabulous.
The movie is full of so many iconic quotes, and you're given a lot to chew on as Ruth. And James Cameron makes these really big, bold moves that I can imagine it might be hard to nail down the tone sometimes. Like, do you want to see me working as a seamstress? Or, of course, it's unfair. We're women. Our choices are never easy. And another one we love. Will the lifeboats be seated according to class? Like, these are just like iconic lines. What was the hardest one to sell? Were you ever like, oh, how do I make this one work?
I don't work that way. I don't even realize that things are quote unquote lines. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've probably done movies where I should have emphasized what could have become a line, but who knows if it is? You know what I mean? There's no way of knowing. Will the lifeboats be seated according to class? Who knew that was going to be something that people would yell at me?
They do. Okay. Yes. They do yell that at you.
They did back then. Oh my God. Little girls would come up to me and say, I hate you. I hate you. It was such a compliment, but then it started hurting my feelings. All these people were so mad at me. I say, listen, you're 12 years old now. In another 10 years, I hope we run into each other again because you're going to learn something about women's positions back in the early part of the 20th century. They didn't have the right to vote. They couldn't own property. They had to marry somebody. And that's how you had your station in life. Otherwise, you would be a seamstress or maybe a nurse or a prostitute if you didn't have, good grades. So, get back to me in 10 years.
Honestly, that line is like an essence line, in theater where you say, what is the essence line of this character? Ruth Dewitt Bukater is a gay icon, and that line boiled it right down. She is. I just need you to know that she is a gay icon.
Okay. Ruth is. Wait. I have one more story that.
Oh, please.
About the synchronicity and how in sync we all were with each other. So my very first scene was that corset scene. I mean, that was the entire reason I did this movie, was because I wanted to say, we're women, our choices are never easy. I thought that line, not that it's going to be a line for posterity, but I just wanted to be able to speak that for every woman in the world. So Kate and I are we're getting ready in the makeup room, and we're talking about the scene, and we kind of said, you know what? Don't you think you should be putting me into the corset? I said, I thought about that too, and I don't know what to say, but I agree. Since you and I both agree, because it seems like it makes more sense, and I'm trying to keep you tied in.
Right.
Than the other way around.
It serves the theme of the piece, yeah.
Right? And so we said, well, when we get to set, let's talk to Jim about it and see what he thinks. And so we finally get to set, we're walking toward, and he's coming to me, he comes jaunting up, and he goes, "Hey, gals, I had an idea. I think you should switch." And we both together went, "Okay, good idea, Jim." So we
let him think it was his all along. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were in tune with each other, and that's how so much of this went. You know, it really, really flowed so well.
It's a beautiful epic, and it holds up. It's an action movie. It's a drama. It's a romance. Look, it's our favorite movie. I have one quick question about something I read online that I need to verify. Is it true that at a certain point there were no bathroom breaks for the actors because there was I know that you weren't in the water because you got on a lifeboat, thank God. But did you have to pee in the tank? I read that some of the actors had to pee in the tank.
Oh God, no, I've never read that.
Okay.
And obviously I was never in the tank, but what they did for us, those of us who were in these courses, because they had, porta potties. If we were up on the ship, we had to, go down and go into the porta potties, but the women couldn't because we had these big dresses on. So we would all kind of have to sync up together and go, "Okay, 5 minutes, everybody go take a pee break." So we'd all get into this truck standing up to go back to our dressing rooms that were on the lot. And we would all dismount and go to our dressing rooms and hike the club. I mean, it was so complicated.
Yeah.
That's what happened with us as the principal people. But, I didn't even think about it. What happened with all the background? What happened with...
They were in the water for so long. It's what are they going to take them out? Got them pee. I think people peed in the tank.
Well, this is so gross. But I got to tell you, on some of my days off, I would go down to the set anyway, because we shot in Rosarito. And if I stayed over, where else am I going to go? I'll go to the set and watch. And I'll never forget the first time I saw them call for a break, because they had to break the background. The ones floating in the water, with all the ice all over them and everything, all the dead bodies. So it's the whistle blew. And they all stand up because it's about a 4-foot tank.
Okay.
And they file up the stairs, over the side of the tank, out into these hot tubs that were outside of the studio because they were wet. So they wanted to stay warm. And it was the funniest sight to see these guys and women with, pieces of ice all over their faces and blue lips and white skin, smoking a cigarette and I've got footage of all that somewhere on my Super 8 camera, somewhere in storage. Yeah, someday I'll find it and put it all together.
It's a beautiful spectacle. So thank you for giving us gay icon Ruth Dewitt Bukater.
Okay, Frances, you got your start in the theater with credits that include Fool for Love off-Broadway, Elia Kazan's The Chain, Hay Fever, 1984, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Arthur Miller's Finishing the Picture, Three More Sleepless Nights, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Desire Under the Elms, The Cherry Orchard at the Mark Taper Forum, and Barbecue at the Giffen Playhouse, to name a few.
And I just did The Lion in Winter with Gregory Harrison down at Laguna Playhouse. Not just did, I did it right before the pandemic.
Okay. So you've said that coming from the theater, you got to play lead roles, and that when you started to do film and television work, you felt like you had to start from the bottom. What was the first on-screen credit that really rivaled the work that you had been doing in the theater?
I'm Still Waiting.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
No, I was very naive. I started in theater in New York City and came out to Los Angeles to work in film because I had done a couple of films while I was based in New York. But I thought, it's time for me to spread my wings, as Bob Mitchum said. And we were sitting on a set one day. He goes, "Why don't you spread your wings, kid? Go out to LA. That's where they make the movies." Oh, okay. Come visit me anytime, but spread your wings, kid. So I did, but I was 36 years old. I had no idea that was kind of over the hill back then in the 80s for an actress to try to begin in film, because I figure, in theater, you just work until you drop.
Yeah, of course.
It's not so much about your age, and because in theater there's more illusion can be created in the theater. So yeah, I felt like I was beginning at the bottom because nobody gave a shit about theater credits.
Yeah.
Right.
I've played a lot of supporting roles. I've played lead roles in small independent things. And the truth is like you still put in as much work as it to play a role that's 2 scenes as, you do playing a lead. In fact, you have more opportunity to actually explore your character if you have a big role, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a small role, you got to get it all in. You got to put all that work into it and make your impact in 1 or 2 scenes, which is challenging and fun.
Okay, Frances, you starred as Strawberry Alice, prostitute and protector of the other women in the 1992 Western Unforgiven opposite Clint Eastwood, who also directed it. It, of course, starred Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman and went on to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards. I personally love Westerns and think that you're so, so good in this role. I wanted to know if there were any particular films or sort of iconic women in Westerns that inspired the performance, or if you delved into real-life research to sort of build Strawberry Alice from scratch.
Well, it was more of a real life thing, although the minute you said that, I thought of Miss Kitty.
In Blazing Saddles?
No, Miss Kitty, Gunsmoke.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Classic.
I remember watching her so many years ago. Oh, my God. But that wasn't anything like Strawberry Alice. No, I obviously did the research, like what was going on in that period of time, what kind of a place did we live in. One of the things that we did is I got all the gals together and we said, if we were in San Francisco, we would have been painted up and dressing well, but we're in the middle of nowhere and it's hot and let's not wear any makeup. And all the gals were great about that. And I said, and plus we're going to get onto set at the same time that Morgan and Jean and everybody else does. So there's nobody can say, oh, those women are taking too much time,
Right.
So it was kind of like not a competition, but it was like, okay, here's Jean, there's Richard Harris. How long's he going?
Right.
But all we had to do was just kind of throw our hair up a little bit and put some sunscreen on and get to set and be ready to go, because Clint likes efficiency,
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of masculine energy on that set, as you're saying, as you're listing the men.
oh yeah. It was kind of a man's movie, except for the fact that, if Strawberry Alice hadn't been there, this whole thing would not have happened, right? She was the instigator, finding somebody to,
You've got the bounty, yeah.
Yeah.
You worked with Clint Eastwood on his films Pink Cadillac and also True Crime, and then The Stars Fell on Henrietta, which he produced. And you also have your daughter together, Francesca Eastwood, who's an actress. So based on the timeline, it seems like you and Clint collaborated together after your separation. How did your working relationship change over the years so you could find balance with your professional life and your personal life?
It takes time.
Okay.
And it was all was forgiven. So that's what it was.
Okay.
Do you guys have a shorthand because you know each other so well? Does that work for you or against you at a certain point?
Well, the only thing he told me about Strawberry Alice is he just gave me one word, that she's feisty. And that was all I needed, because he, as a director, doesn't sit around and talk and philosophize and pontificate about things. He'll give you one word. And he's also said that the success of a movie, it's all about the casting. 95% of it is the casting. If you cast right, the job is done for you.
That's interesting. Yeah.
He's got an instinct about how to cast.
Just want to say that I am obsessed with this fact that you play Johnny Savage's daughter in a deleted scene from one of my favorite movies of all time, Waiting for Guffman. What the hell happened there?
Oh, God, stories. I could do a one-woman show with these stories that I have to tell.
We're ready for it.
God, oh my God, that was so awful. I had such a good time playing that role. So yeah, I found out that the deleted scene is actually in there, and how funny was that, right? I mean, so and even Rob Reiner called me up when they were editing, and he goes, Frances, you know, you've got the funniest line in the movie. I went, what? He goes, he could be the next Keanu Reeves. Because it's all improvised, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember what Keanu's name was. Was it Reeve or Reeves? Still don't.
It's okay. It serves it. It serves it.
Oh, so I thought, oh, thank you so much. So, you know, they're editing and everything. I thought, oh my God, this is kind of early in my career. And I thought, oh, I'm in a comedy that people are going to know I'm funny because I've been doing all these serious parts in movies and forever. So then I got a call from Christopher Guest, the director, and he said, Frances, I hate to tell you this, but we had to cut your scenes out of the movie. I went, what? He said, yeah, it's a time issue, and we had to really cut it down. I'm really sorry. I was so disappointed, I can't tell you, to be cut out of that movie because it was so good, right? What a great...
It's a classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic. So then... about 2 weeks later, I get an invitation to the screening. I went, oh my God, I must have been put back in.
Oh my God, no.
It gets worse.
Oh.
So I go with my sister-in-law. It's not a big deal. It's in Westwood at one of those big theaters and stuff. The whole place is packed. It was kind of a rainy day because I remember wearing a hat, thank God. So anyway, we're sitting in the audience, and Chris gets up and he goes, okay, everybody in the cast, get up here. I want to introduce you, and then we're going to see the film. So everybody stands up, and it's like the entire cast, right, all sprinkle out throughout. And, of course, I stand up. You know, I'm so excited. And
Oh, my God.
all those great people, right? They
Yeah.
all get up and go, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm so-and-so, Kathleen. And I'm the last woman standing. And Chris, okay, everybody, let's watch the movie.
Oh, God. It's a terrible business. It's a terrible business.
Shrinking down into my chair, and my sister-in-law looks at me and she goes, what just happened? I said, thank God I have this hat on. Maybe
Oh, Lord.
I was not in the movie.
Oh,
Why they invited me, I have.
Your deleted scene is very good, and it is on the DVD, which is, of course, how I knew about it. And also, you had worked with Chris Guest before on Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. So
Yeah.
I just thought, yeah, anyway, I'm glad the deleted scene lives for posterity on the DVD because people that love the movie own it, the hard copy.
Yeah.
And 10 people saw it.
Look, we're putting it out here now. The deleted scenes from Waiting for Guffman are the best deleted scenes
It's
in all
true.
of cinema. It's like there could be a 4-hour film with multiple other musical numbers and all your scenes. Like, this is the director's cut that I want,
Yeah.
that I'm fighting for.
Is that the best line in the movie? I doubt
Yeah.
it, but
No, it's up there, Frances. It's up there.
Okay, Frances Fisher, we have entered the part of the show that we call rapid fire. We are going to throw a lot at you. We're going to get out of your hair. So answer as quickly as possible, but don't feel any stress. You can take your time if you need, but we're going to be even more maniacal than we already have been.
okay.
Think about the worst, least talented, least disciplined actor you've ever worked opposite, and tell us if that experience was better or worse than working with the dogs in Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3 Viva La Fiesta.
Oh my God. You know, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, it was the best. I had so much fun working on that show. In fact, I wanted to work on that show. My agent said, no, it's going to go straight to DVD. I said, I don't care. I want dogs, and I want to bring joy to children. You know, I want to be part of that. And I brought my dogs, who were both Chihuahuas there.
Yeah.
And I was going to sneak them into the scene with me.
Did you?
Next to me. No, because let me tell you, the dogs don't have a union, but boy, their owners, they snapped at me and they said, you can't bring your own dogs in here. We're a crew here and we get paid for what we do, and you can't just bring them in like extras. I went, come on, they're my dogs. I just want my daughter to see them in a movie.
Oh.
I'm sorry, ma'am, you have to go through training. So anyway, that was a big waste. I don't remember the question.
It was about how if it was a good experience, and you said yes.
Oh, I had a ball. It was so much fun because at lunchtime I would go around to all the dog costumes and I'd put them on August and Batman and snap them in their little fiesta hats and things like that. I had a good time.
Okay, good.
Okay, you played Jennifer Connelly's caseworker in The House of Sand and Fog, and I will never forget it. She said many moons ago in Entertainment Weekly that she put real dirt in her hair to make her hair less, vibrant, and our former guest of the show, Sheree Agdashlu, said that she thought that was true. What say you?
I think so. Jennifer is a very, very good actress, and I think that is exactly what she would do. And by the way, Sheree, how much do you love her?
We're obsessed with her.
Incredible.
We are literally sisters. We were born on the same day, same year, and we celebrate together. We became friends on that show, even though we didn't work together, obviously. But during the publicity tours, we were together and we became fast friends. I just love that woman.
Yeah, she was very generous to us, and she is so talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you played lover to Jessica Chastain and Jolene, friend to Annette Bening in Mrs. Harris, and Tilda Swinton in Female Perversions, and mothers to Kate Winslet in Titanic, Julianne Moore in Laws of Attraction, and Laura Innes on ER. Who is one red-haired woman that you have not yet acted with that you'd like to?
Deborah Messing comes to mind.
Oh, yes.
Into it.
Yes. We could do our Lucy's together.
Exactly.
Actresses who are trying to get a Lucy project off the ground.
Yes.
She's one. Bryce Dallas Howard. I was able to watch her because my grandson watches the Jurassic Park things. And because I would never go to something like that, right? But he is turning me on to all of these action things that I previously had no interest in. And she's a very good actress.
Yeah, she is.
Very, very good. And a director, too.
Okay, Frances, you star in The Roommate as Leighton Meester's mother, where she is basically single white femaling Minka Kelly. Could you tell them apart?
Could I tell them apart? You are bad.
They look very similar. I mean, that's the premise of the film. But I looked at the cover and I said, well, I don't know which. I mean, I do know.
I didn't know.
I knew who Leighton Meester was.
They are so cute, both of them. I just adore them. They could be twins.
Totally.
I haven't seen them in real life lately, but that we had a good time. It was short, it was just a tiny little part, but it was good to be part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we read this story online that you were originally cast opposite Tim Allen on Home Improvement, but then they recast because of a lack of chemistry. Look, Frances, to be honest, this is a badge of honor on this podcast that you did not have chemistry with Tim Allen. So what can you share with us about that experience?
Oh, God, what a nightmare that was. Oh, my God. Talk about naive. Okay, so I auditioned for it. And what they did is they wrote me a fabulous audition scene. It was like a kind of a monologue, right? Because you jump through the hoops, right? You go to the casting director first, and then if you make that, you go to the network, and then you go to the studio, and so you jump through these hoops. So I had this great scene, and I made it past the casting director. Then I got to the next step and did that. And then they go, great, you know what? You're going to go to the network and you're going to be reading with Tim Allen. And we're going to see how that works. I was like, great. So did that scene and I met Tim. It was great. And we had chemistry. Liked each other and did that scene. And a couple days later, it's like, you got the job. It's like, oh my God, that's fantastic. I'm going to do a sitcom with this, great stand-up comedian, Tim Allen. So I get to work. And the script that they sent me the night before is like, what happened to my character? What's going on? That character that they wrote for me in the audition did not appear on the page. And I didn't know enough about sitcom acting. I probably should have hired a coach or something like that, but I didn't think about that. I was to set up his lines so he could do the punchline kind of thing, but I didn't understand that because I was from the theater and I didn't understand what was going on. So I'd never been in a sitcom rehearsal before. And I was like, who are these guys in dark suits in the bleachers watching and kind of hovering around and people laughing and playing things that were not funny. And I was really lost. And that was Monday. Tuesday was, okay, now we're going to do scene by scene. It's like, well, because I came from theater, I was trying to be grounded in the reality of it, right? And nothing made sense. And I go, why am I screaming when the dishwasher explodes? I would be going to fix it. No, because see, Tim has a line here that, and I'm going, oh my God. Wednesday, I'm sitting there, talking to the actor who's across the fence. I'm going, have you ever had that feeling that you're going to get fired? Because I've already had that feeling like I'm in the dream where I'm naked on stage and I don't know what I'm doing. We've all had that dream before, right? But only really happening because I'm standing here not knowing what's going on. I get home on Wednesday and I get the call. Thank you so much, Frances. You're going to get paid for this episode, but we have decided to go another way with this character. And I still didn't know because nobody gave me direction about how to do it.
Right.
And I felt so bamboozled that I was given this wonderful monologue, basically, where I really sunk my teeth into it and made her work. But she wasn't there on the page. Anyway, 2 years later, I am at an event and Patricia Richardson is walking toward me. And I'd never met her before. And I looked at her because, of course, she took over for that part. And I think that was always their secret thing to begin with, that they were trying to get Pat into the show. But she had some babies and they were trying to, negotiate with her. So they kind of threw me in as a stopgap or something. So I'll never forget it. It's like one of those things imprinted on my mind. She comes toward me and I look at her and I said, you're so rich. And she said back, but you got to do Unforgiven. And we became friends.
That's cool.
Okay, that's a classy response,
Oh, yeah, it was great because I was not doing Home Improvement, then as fate would have it, I got cast in Unforgiven, and I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Frances Fisher, this has been a total pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Getting to hear you say to Frances, Ruth is a gay icon, and I just need you to know. And then her response was, she is a gay icon, was so cool.
It's just like when it feels imperative for me to say something to an actress and then make sure that she really heard it. Then listening back to those moments, it's always interesting. I feel like I really have gotten to know myself on a new level, having to listen to my own voice so much on this show. But I think Frances did get the memo. I think she got it. She got the picture drawn for her quite clearly. Her delivery of those lines truly is so iconic. She's so good. I also just really loved that you never know. You put a question in the rapid fire. You never know how it's going to be received. Sometimes we cut it because it's like, oh, okay, it didn't really go anywhere, or somebody couldn't remember the thing or whatever. Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3 delivered on a level I didn't know it was going to. And I'm just so grateful that we put it in there because she had such a great time. And also, I think one of the threads of this podcast is learning that animal trainers on movie sets are such a particular breed in and of themselves. And I feel like maybe we should get one of them for the show just to talk to them.
Interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Remember someone was telling us about their pet dog, and you're not even allowed to engage with the pet dog to build a rapport because they're like, no. That seems...
Yeah, who was that?
Seems like it would be really hard. You just want to pet the little baby.
Yeah.
And also just talking to Frances about being cast on Home Improvement originally. And I think we actually talked to Patricia Richardson.
Putting that thread together.
Exactly.
Oof.
Like we talked to Patricia Richardson, I believe, after we talked to Frances, but getting to sort of piece their stories together. I mean, good Lord. It's just like, that is what we're out here trying to do, folks. We're trying to thread it all together. Also, I think it's worth noting that so many of the women we've worked with, and this includes Frances Fisher and Patricia Richardson and Lisa Ann Walter and Jodie Long, and I'm sure others that I'm like missing off the top of my head, were all like really involved in the union. Like they are all repping for the LA local or wherever they live. And I'm very into that. I think it's very cool. And I think it speaks to the type of women and non-binary performers that we have on this show and on our roster.
Amen. Union strong. Also, I just need Frances Fisher to be in a movie with Deborah Messing before I die. It has to be. I want to put it into the ether. Wow, what an episode. Thank you for joining us with Frances Fisher. If you loved the show like we did, join us back here next week, because right now Damien's going to give you a little taste of who we'll have with us. So Damien, can you do the thing where we connect this week's guest to next week's via a series of actor connections that includes exactly 0 men?
Well, yes, I can. I forgot that I was going to do this, but I'm ready now. Woo! Here we go.
Go.
Frances Fisher was in Titanic with Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates was in Fried Green Tomatoes with Mary Stuart Masterson, who was in Bad Girls, a movie I was obsessed with as a little faggot preteen. It's a Western with all 4 women. So Mary Stuart Masterson was in Bad Girls with Drew Barrymore. Drew was in Boys on the Side, opposite Mary Louise Parker, who has HIV in the movie, alongside Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg.
Spoiler alert!
Whoopi Goldberg headlined Sister Act 2, co-starring Alana Ubach, who is in the Brady Bunch movie as lesbian best friend to Christine Taylor. Christine Taylor is in Dodgeball with Missy Pyle. Missy was in Josie and the Pussycats, the film, with Rosario Dawson. Rosario was in the Rent film with Idina Menzel. Idina starred on Broadway in Wicked with Kristen Chenoweth. Kristen Chenoweth appears in the weird film adaptation of Running with Scissors, which also starred Annette Bening. And Annette Bening is excellent in American Beauty in one great iconic scene with next week's guest.
A lot of good redheads in there. Thank you for that. I love Annette Bening so much.
I have difficulty with her. I think she's a great...
What?
I have difficulty with her because she reminds me of my non-boyfriend from a time in my life who walked in on me and him together. She has a similar appearance. So she's triggering to me, but I love her as an actor. She's great. I mean, God, being Julia is like so good.
So good.
It's
so
an incredible performance.
Yeah. Agreed.
She's a great actor. I love her. I'm only half kidding about the triggered part. Also, I always used to make this joke about like how she and like Kelly Ripa and Téa Leoni should like play sisters in something. You see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it?
I'm going to say I don't see it, but I'm going to put them side by side and we'll see. We'll put it in the show notes and we'll just see what we can get. I also just am hearkening back to the Frances Fisher episode to tell you that I was embarrassed that I made the mistake when she said Miss Kitty, and I was like, Blazing Saddles? That's Lily Von Shtupp, and that is Madeline Kahn. And I was like, Gunsmoke is beyond my frame of reference. Do I know about Gunsmoke? Yes, Miss Kitty was not in my frame of reference, so I apologize. But yes, we did leave that mistake in because we do make mistakes here on the show.
We make mistakes, and you know what I thought of but didn't verbalize? I thought she meant Miss Kitty from 50 Goes West, you know, the American Tail sequel.
Can you imagine if that was her reference point for Strawberry Alice and Unforgiven? I did use 50 Goes West as inspiration.
I always love 50 Goes West because I never realized that they were Jewish, and how rare is it that cartoon characters are explicitly Jewish? The Mousekewitz
It really is. It really is. It really is an iconic Jewish piece of work. I love it so much.
Folks, if you love this kind of bullshit, if you love talking about the Mousekewitz, if you love talking about Flaming Saddles versus Blazing Saddles versus Gunsmoke versus 50 Goes West, then you got to follow us on social media. You can find us on all of the things under the same handles. You can find me at Damien Bellino, and it's Damien with an A, and you can find my best friend here who paid for my entire night out because I allegedly lost my wallet. I did find it just today.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, where was it?
It was in like a box of clothes that were going to the Goodwill, so cool.
Oh my God, thank God you got it.
You can find her. She is an incredible human. Beyond just her research and hosting abilities, she is an incredible human because she fronted the bill for that frozen espresso martini. You can find her at Rodemanne. It's RODEMANNE.
You might know her from It's Produced by us, Anne Rodeman and Damian Bellino. Damian Bellino did make his way to meet me on Friday night by subway, and he did not get lost, which is the one part of the thing that would have made this story more complete, is if he took the wrong train or went uptown when he meant to go downtown.
Completely.
I love him so much. Sense of direction is not his strongest suit. He has many other great qualities. We want to thank, as always, our beautiful consultants at Grumpy Entertainment. They keep us on track. That's Jason Jude Hill and Daniel Sears, and all of the smooth editing. We had said, Daniel, please leave in that Lily Von Stupp Miss Kitty mistake. Daniel Sears, as always, thank you for the sincerely beautiful editing job.
Special thanks to Gang. All that music you hear underscoring each and every episode of You Might Know Her From is by Gang. You can download and stream Gang wherever you listen to your music, babe.
And don't you know that I am going to put those pictures of Kelly Ripa, Annette Bening, and who?
Taya Leone.
Taya Leone. I still don't see it, but I like it. I loved all three of them, so I'm ready to... Those are going to be the show notes, and you can compare it side by side and tell me what you think. Should they play sisters? I have something to pose to you. It is about the Oscars, but it's not about what you think. And it's about Lady Gaga being what I'm going to call a good Italian girl. And I can't get enough of it because, you know, I've been on a real roller coaster with Lady Gaga, but I do just have to say she really does pay tribute to the greats. She has a lot of honor for the folks that came before her, and her holding Liza Minnelli's hand and quietly whispering, "I got you," when Liza was shaking and wasn't sure what came next, about broke my heart. And I said, she really gets it. How do you feel about her as an Italian-American man?
I think it's interesting because, you know, Tony Bennett and Liza Minnelli, two famous Italians, I think it's just a shorthand. And, you know, they probably told her that she was probably told as a kid that she should be a nun. You know, like that's what they always tell the nice, sensitive Italian kids. Like I always was like, Damien, you should go in to be in the seminary. And I was always like, should I? really considered it all the way through high school. But, you know, I do recognize that ability. I mean, I think it speaks to her Italian Catholic upbringing and also her theatricality, like her sensitivity.
Yes.
She was a sensitive kid who I think has reverence for her elders, and I think that also spans her showbiz, you know, the scope of her showbiz role models. So I agree. At first I was like, but then I was like, well, like what else is there to do? Like they placed them together and she's doing the thing to make her feel safe. So then I was into it. At first I was like, oh, this is like all bad. And then I was like, well, you know, I don't know.
It's the Tisch part of her. It's the Tisch School of the Arts part of her that is the hardest for me to swallow. But I feel like I really just like, I love and appreciate Gaga. And now I feel like I still haven't seen House of Gucci. So if you want to watch it, I'd love to watch it with you.